Okay, I just wanted to show you how to use Microsoft Windows. Okay, so this is your start button. There's four little squares here. Okay, you can press on start and you can look for common apps. So if you wanted to use Microsoft Edge, okay, you can just click on Microsoft Edge. This is Microsoft Edge. And Microsoft Edge, you could look up something like how to use Edge, for example. Alright, and you can find tutorials, you can find different instructions. Okay, so you could also, things like if you want to use a notepad, okay, Microsoft Store, settings is important, so you can go into settings. Okay, this is your settings screen. And my computer's a little bit slow, but this is what it does. Okay, and this is your file manager. See here, this little thing here. You can look at different files that are on your system. Now I have got Microsoft OneDrive here. Alright, that's my Microsoft OneDrive is there. I also have Google OneDrive, and I also have OneDrive for my TAFE, which I work at. Alright, but you can look at different like folders, and if you want to create a folder, you just go to C drive, alright, and you just right mouse click and you just say new folder, and I'll just call it like test or whatever you want to call it. Alright, now this is the settings again. So you can go to, like, this is your home, like cloud storage. This is my cloud storage. Okay, that's Outlook. Wi-Fi is on because my computer connects via Wi-Fi. I've also got Bluetooth and I can connect to my phone. You can view all devices, so you can look at here. There's mouse, keyboard, monitor, web stream cam, speaker, USB, other devices, gateway, Sagecom. Alright, if I want to look at network, I use Wi-Fi. I don't use Ethernet. You can have a VPN, and I've allowed a VPN connection, so I can say set up a VPN and say Microsoft Bing. Okay, open VPN settings, open. Alright, in other words, things you can look at network flight mode. It's not something you want unless you are actually in flight. Proxy servers, dial up, advanced network settings. So if you want to look at data usage, network discovery. So if I wanted my PC to be able to be found by other computers on the network, I would turn this on. And like when I had several computers on the network, I would have had this on because I would share files, file and printer sharing. If I want to share the printer and files, and I did do this when I had multiple computers. Okay, you can have private networks. I have in private networks, okay. Now this public one is something that you probably generally don't want to find. If you want a private one, that's something that's just in your little, like your home or your office. If it's something else, you would want to do public, but that's security risks, so that's something you should be careful about. So public folder sharing, file sharing connections, password sharing. So this is someone, if I wanted to allow a remote user, I would password protected sharing, like you want to turn this on. Okay, so apps, you can look at what's installed. System components, and these are all the different files I've got. And you can look at all drives that are there. Offline maps, apps for website, video playback, startup, resume, actions, Microsoft Teams, yes. Paint, I don't want. Photos, yes. Visual Assist, yes. And you can learn how to get started with actions. So that can look up here. It'll go to a Microsoft website. Okay. All right. What else can you do? Accounts. We can get help. So this is my account. I've set myself up. I pay for Microsoft 365 Family, and you see my card, but that's no longer a viable card anyway, so get what you can out of that because that doesn't work anymore. And it tells me when I'm getting charged, and get my benefits, my info, sign-in options, link devices, family. So this is a lot of places that you can get setups, time and language. I've set myself to obviously Melbourne, Australia, date and time, typing, speech recognition. I have some accessibility. I'm going to change choose a voice, Microsoft George. All right. Gaming, game bar, accessibility. Now this is something I use a fair bit. All right. Because I have some accessibility needs. So you can magnify, text cursor, mouse pointer and touch, visual effects, text size, audio, hearing devices, speech, mouse, privacy and security. This is something, Windows security. This is something you need to be in open Windows security. Okay, so this is something that's important to know. And this is Microsoft Defender that's coming up now. Okay, Windows, it's called Windows Security. You can just go, and that's what that is. And Windows Update, you should have this on automatically. Check for update. And I want to get the latest updates, because having updates, you can view up advanced options, Windows Insider program. All right, so that's your settings. You can go to here and you can go control panel. All right. So system and security here. This is where you also can adjust settings. Firewall, yes. You can allow certain apps through firewall. Review your computer statements and resolve issues. This is a good one. Maintenance. You want to view, you want to turn this on. Turn on file history usually. Okay, because I don't have an external drive. I'm going to get one, but restore personal files, select drive. You can do all sorts of stuff. Change user account and control settings here. Notify me only when applications try to make changes. Okay, that's probably about where you want it. You can have it always notify or never notify. I've set it about there. You can decide for yourself. You can tell me more about user account control settings. You can go into that. Alright. System. This is RAM and processor speed. Alright, so storage, graphics card, installed RAM, and that's very low. I need to upgrade and get a better system because I need like 122 gig, or probably preferably 2 terabyte. I've got an i7 CPU. I need an i9. I need an SSD. I've only got a HDD. Okay, so this is product key and activation remote desktop. Now, if you're going to help someone else with their computer, you want to turn this on. All right, and then you can also go into different things. All right, control panel, power options, change what the power buttons do. You can make it shut down when you press the power button. You can change this. Now, these things are only stuff that you might want to do if you know what you're doing. Hardware and sound, add a device if you're adding a new printer, for example. Advanced printer setup, change windows, autoplay, sound, power options, programs. You can uninstall a program, turn Windows features on and off. Okay, so control panel's quite powerful. All right. You can also do what's called PowerShell, run as administrator. Now, this is again something you only want to do if you know what you're doing. So you run as administrator, hopefully it'll start up eventually. You go yes, yes, bit slow, that's all. Alright, so you can do things like dir/w. Oh, dir, what's it doing? dir is just directory. This is just what's in this current directory. Alright, this is what it does. You can look around, actually it's like a command prompt. You can actually go into the command prompt, but the command prompt has less functionality than the PowerShell. You can actually write programs in the PowerShell. I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you know what you're doing, but again, this is just something I'm showing you how to do. Okay, so exit that. And I can just close it by pressing the X key. Alright. You can go lock, sleep, shut down, or restart your computer. Alright. And we've shown you File Explorer. I've shown you most of the stuff, although there's quite a fair bit else to show you. It's just, this is just sort of like the basics to get you going, alright?